I still remember how you held the silence, like every truth was trembling on your tongue. You said you didn't want to hurt me slowly, but letting go was something already done. Your shadow slipped across the kitchen doorway, the same way sunlight fades into the rain. I watched you pack your heart inside your suitcase and leave me with the weight I can't explain. And I keep wondering why the things we love are first to disappear. I try to fall asleep, but I still feel your heartbeat in my fear. If you ever think of me again, I hope the memory doesn't break you where you stand. I hope you see the love we tried to save but couldn't hold within our hands. Even if you found a life where I no longer fit in your plans, I'll still whisper soft. If you ever think of me again. Your sweater hangs the same way you had left it, still catching echoes of your fading scent. I hold it close when nights grow too familiar with all the things we almost could have meant. Your playlist play the songs that used to save us, but now the chords just push the past away. I learned that loving you was always easy, but losing you was something I could break. And though you're far from me, your ghost still lies between the sheets at night. I try to move along, but every step still drags you into sight. If you ever think of me again, I hope the memory doesn't break you where you stand. I hope you see the love we tried to save but couldn't hold within our hands. Even if you found a life where I no longer fit in your plans, I'll still whisper soft. If you ever think of me again. Maybe love was built to show us who we are before we fail. Maybe letting go was how we learned the parts we couldn't tell. But even if the years erase the way our promises began, a part of you remains, a part I'll never fully understand. If you ever think of me again, let it be gentle like a thought that doesn't bend. Let it remind you once of all the nights we try to make amends. Even if tomorrow comes and leaves our story at its quiet end, I'll still breathe your name. If you ever think of me again. So here's my final truth: I loved you more than I could ever meant, and I'll be here in case you ever think of me again.
You stood beneath the fading autumn sunlight. Your eyes were full of things you couldn't say. I felt the moment falling all around us, like memories collapsing into gray. Your hands were cold but shaking in my fingers, a quiet tremor telling me the truth. Even before your voice began to falter, I knew that I was losing more than you. And though you tried to smile, The corners of your heart were torn into the moment you let go. A part of me kept reaching after you. This is the goodbye I never chose, a breaking tide that swept the life we froze. I tried to hold you close, but love had turned to something neither one could hold. Even if the years move on and soften all the wounds the story wrote, I'll always feel the weight of the goodbye I never chose. The scarf you left still hangs beside the doorway. It's fading warm, still clinging to my chest. I'll wear it when the nights grow heavy-handed, pretending you are here instead of left. The mirror shows a face I barely know now, a quieter version of who I've been. I trace the lines you soften with your laughter, and break again, remembering your grin. I whisper into dark the words I wish I had the strength to say, but some confessions die when timing pulls two fragile hearts away. This is the goodbye I never chose, a breaking tide that swept the life we froze. I tried to hold you close, but love had turned to something neither one could hold. Even if the years move on and soften all the wounds the story wrote, I'll always feel the weight of the goodbye I never chose. Maybe love was meant to hurt, to show us where the deepest feelings stay. Maybe letting go was how you saved us in your quiet way. But every part of me still clings to moments time refused to keep. And even in the light, your shadow guards the places where I sleep. This is the goodbye I never chose, a silent ache that only heaven knows. I'll carry it through time, a fragile truth that rises when it slows. Even if tomorrow finds a softer world where broken hearts can grow, I'll never lose the part of the goodbye I never chose. So here beneath the dawn, I let your memory gently decompose, but love will linger still in the goodbye I never chose. Was holding on to something fragile, a quiet tension heavy in the air. You looked at me like someone lost in longing, as if your heart was halfway out of there. The streetlights flickered softly on your shadow. Your breathing shook the stillness of the room, and though you tried to find the words to save us, your silence told me love had met its doom. I should have asked you then why everything felt colder in your eyes, but truth is hard to speak when both of us were scared to say goodbye. This was the last time you said my name. A trembling whisper pulled apart by shame. You held the door too long, as if the world refused to stay the same. Even if tomorrow heals the pieces that our breaking hearts became, I'll never forget the sound the last time you said my name. Your footsteps echoed down the empty staircase, a fading rhythm meant to disappear. I try to catch the final trace of warmth, but all I held was proof you weren't still here. Your scent still lingers in the midnight corners. The pillows hold your shape the way you slept. I try to lie the same, but feel the difference. In places where your breathing once had kept, and something in the dark still carries how you trembled through goodbye. You didn't want to break, but loving me was something you outgrew in time. This was the last time you said my name. A trembling whisper pulled apart by shame. You held the door too long, as if the world refused to stay the same. Even if tomorrow heals the pieces that our breaking hearts became, I'll never forget the sound the last time you said my name. Maybe love was meant to tear, so we could learn the cost of holding on. Maybe you were meant to fade, so I could see the parts of me you drawn. But even in the dust, where silence grows like frost upon the flame, your voice still lingers soft in how you said my name. This was the last time you said my name, a ghost that time will never fully tame. I close my eyes and hear the heartbreak painted in your fragile frame. Even if the years move on and turn our story into quiet blame, I'll always feel the ache the last time you said my name. So let the night remain a vessel for the love we couldn't claim. You'll live inside the sound the last time you said my name.
Trace the outline where your warmth once lingered, the empty pillow breathing in the cold. Your shadow still a stain across the bedsheet, a fading truth I never learned to hold. Streetlights paint the room in quiet amber, the same way they did when you used to stay. But now the glow feels softer and much longer, like time is trying to memorize the day. And I keep reaching out to something that the night already stole, but letting go of you feels like losing all the pieces that made me whole. This is the night you slipped away, a quiet goodbye wrapped in shades of gray. You didn't speak a word, but silence told me
Your jacket still hangs heavy in the corner, like it's afraid to leave the past behind. I touch it just to feel you for a moment, but ghosts like you don't answer when they're kind. The TV plays a show we used to laugh at. The jokes don't land the way they did before. I let the credits run until they darken, like all the ends we never could ignore. And though the clock keeps on, it drags its hands like it's too hurt to move. I stare into the dark, still searching for the shape I lost of you. This is the night you slipped away, a quiet goodbye wrapped in shades of gray. You didn't speak a word, but silence told me everything you'd say. Even if the world forgets the gentle way our hearts began to fray, I'll always feel the truth of the night you slipped away. Maybe love was meant to fade like headlights disappearing down the road. But even when you left, a piece of you stayed warm inside the cold. And though the dawn will come and wash away the things we couldn't save, I'll carry what we were in the space you couldn't stay. This is the night you slipped away, and nothing ever shines the same way. Your shadow on the floor still moves like you're afraid to walk away. Even if tomorrow heals the parts of me that heartbreak tends to sway, I'll always hold the night you quietly slipped away. So I'll let the lights stay low and keep the memories soft enough to stay. 'Cause part of me still lives in the night you slipped away. The old road where we used to wander, the trees still whisper stories of our name. Your laughter echoes softly through the branches, but everything around me feels the same. Your footprints faded slowly in the rainfall, but mine still trace the path we couldn't keep. I close my eyes and hear the way you loved me, a fragile tune I play before I sleep. I should have said it then, before the silence pulled you further out. But fear can close a heart, and love can crumble underneath the doubt. These are the things I meant to tell you, the words I swallow trying not to break. I loved you more than truth, but love is something time intends to take. Even if you've moved on far and found a different sky for dreams to bloom, you'll always be the one I meant to tell the truth. Your sweater lies untouched beside the window, a ghost of warmth I'm scared to put away. I trace the threads like memories unraveling, a little more each lonely passing day. I hear your voice inside the sound of morning, a gentle hum the world forgot to mute. I try to speak but every breath feels broken, as if my chest forgot how to be true. I didn't want to lose the only thing my trembling hands could hold. But what we never said became the quiet reason love grew cold. These are the things I meant to tell you, the words I swallow trying not to break. I loved you more than truth, but love is something time intends to take. Even if you've moved on far and found a different sky for dreams to bloom, you'll always be the one I meant to tell the truth. If I could turn back time, I'd speak the things I kept behind my fear. I'd look you in the eyes and promise you I'd always keep you near. But life does what it does and leaves us with the pieces we outgrow. Yet somewhere in my heart you're still the name I never learned to show. These are the things I meant to tell you, still tucked away in corners of my chest. I hope you found the peace that love denied us when we tried our best. Even when tomorrow heals and memories drift softly out of view, I'll always hold the love I meant to tell to you. So here's my quiet truth, a gentle echo time cannot undo. You were the heart I kept, the one I never told the truth. I still remember how you stood there. Your eyes were begging me to understand, but all the words you tried to find were broken and slipping like the water through your hands. You traced the edge of my old jacket, the one you used to steal to feel my warmth. Your voice was trembling like the night was ending, and every truth you buried took its form. You didn't say a thing, but silence cut me deeper than the grief. I tried to hold your hand, but love already slipped beneath your feet. This is the way you left without a sound, a quiet storm that tore the world around. I'm standing in the ruins of every promise we had ever found. Even if tomorrow comes and I pretend I'm finally coming around, I'll never forget the way you left without a sound. Your shoes are still beside the hallway, the laces tied the way you always did. I sit and stare at them like they're still breathing, part of you is waiting to walk in. I made your favorite tea this morning, just out of habit more than anything. But when I set your cup across the table, it felt like holding on to fragile things. You didn't need to speak, your heart was saying everything instead. And though I begged you stay, your spirit had already left the bed. This is the way you left without a sound, a quiet storm that tore the world around. I'm standing in the ruins of every promise we had ever found. Even if tomorrow comes and I pretend I'm finally coming around, I'll never forget the
This is the way you left without a sound, a fading warmth I can't replace or drown. I try to carry on, but part of me is buried in that ground. Even if I heal someday and find a life where love can still be found, I'll always hear the night you left without a sound. So I'll keep walking slow through every echo of the love we crown. Still learning how to live since you left without a sound.